To acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe. Marilyn Savant. My friends, we study and we also want to observe. We want to have both the knowledge and the wisdom. And of course, that observing and that study is 10 to 15 minutes each and every day, following your favorite charts, tuning in with us, and seeing what there is to learn about market movement. Remember, regardless of what you hear on television, what you read in the press, what really counts, the only thing that truly counts is price movement. That's what we look at every day. It is the truth. It's not the hype. It's what is real. It's the only thing that's real, price movement. We see everything up for the day. Now, tomorrow in the States is Thanksgiving. Markets will be closed. They will be open for a shortened day stock market. Shortened day on Friday. We'll close at 1. So this is the Friday episode as we digest what goes on, what's gone on up through Wednesday, and then we'll be back with you on Friday. Let's jump into these charts. Where do we see things going for the day? Up 0.63%. Not a whole lot happening. We can see up in the morning just a little bit higher as far as the wick goes in the afternoon. We had things, of course, go red twice here over recent days. Did not drop down to the bottom to reset, so we are not in this trade. We are simply watching where things are. The 2-day is green and trying to push through. The 200 EMA and the STC is green there. And on the weekly, we've bounced off the 200 EMA several weeks ago, heading up a little bit higher high so far this week. Candle's not as big, but we do see a higher high. And of course, going into the third week after the chart went from red on the STC to green. So that is where we are on the S&P 500. Now again, we look at where our prior high was. We're just a little bit above that, the most recent prior high back on the 15th of November. So we'll see where things are going to go. Are they going to seesaw or take off again? Don't know. We'll wait, watch, and see. The NASDAQ 100 up 1% for the day. Again, pushing up on the 200 EMA. We had things rotate over. We've talked about what there was to learn from this. Things did not, we were green, we were set as they rotated over. There were some problems with that, potentially. We talked about it. Now we see things heading up. Again, did not go all the way to the bottom and reset, so we're not jumping into this. We wouldn't jump into it anyway because we're below the 200 EMA. Now, when we look at the 2-day, reason that down move would have had trouble working is because we were, of course, green on the STC on the intermediate chart. Now, it is below the 200 EMA, but again, doesn't mean that that wave was working for us. And on the weekly, even more importantly, we had pushed up through. In fact, this week, the candle totally above the 200 EMA on the weekly chart. And remember, we say this in some seasons more often than others, but all things being equal, the market tends to move in the direction of what? The largest chart, because it's the biggest wave. That's fighting against you too on a down move on the Qs. It's breached the 200 EMA. We're looking for long moves on the weekly chart. And again, green candles. So that, and I told you guys, pay attention. If you jump into this trade, you're going to learn a lesson from it. And of course, we did. It did not work. It's not supposed to work. It could work. Anything could happen, but you had those bigger charts working against you. Something for you to put into your Trader's Almanac and think about and learn from. Let's look at where we are on 20-year bonds. Now, 20-year bonds on all three of these charts way below the 200 EMA on the weekly, on the 2-day, and on the half-day. Half-day is probably the least that's below the 200 EMA. So things are moving up. We've been in the green for a while. We're not taking a long position because we're below the 200 EMA. Hoping to see things do what? Well, at some point either press above the 200 EMA or rotate back below it and allow us to go short. We are just still waiting. We're green on the STC and we've got green candles on the half day. 2-day, green on the STC, and green on the candles. Now again, well below the 200 EMA. It is above us, but look how much I have to squeeze it for you to even see it. Weekly's about the same way. It has gone green this week. It is still well below the 200 EMA, 2 weeks of up movement. So again, we're just waiting to see what bonds are going to do. Is this going to continue? Is this going to end? Will we be ready to jump into a down move if and when that occurs? We'll be waiting, watching, seeing. We'll let the charts lead us. Nothing for us to do. Own bonds right now, but observe them. You cannot push a trade. Now, what do we see going on gold? Gold up for the day, 0.62%. What am I waiting for with gold? I'm waiting for gold to rocket up. Still red on the STC, but look how it has reset itself for us. Gold down for several days, bottoming out. Looks like it's trying to move up above the 200 EMA. That's something positive. Look at where we are on the 2-day. We have a couple of red down candles here, but we're still green on the STC. We touched the 200 EMA, didn't pass through it. What about the weekly? The weekly, we have passed through it. 3 weeks ago, we breached it. Last week, even higher. This week, totally above it, smaller candle. So we had some exuberance that's filtered off a little bit of that, but hopefully that'll gain up again. So we have everything on those bigger charts, well, many things on those bigger charts going for us. Green candles, green STC on both the weekly and the 2-day. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for things to go green on the STC. We've been talking about this for the last few days. That's what we're waiting on. If it happens, we'll be ready to pull the trigger. Going to feel much better about that one. So we'll wait, watch, and see. What's up with Bitcoin? Up for the day, 3.7%. 3.7%. Again, what does that mean to us? Not a whole lot. After this latest Bitcoin crash down significantly. So again, just sort of sliding along. It's up, it's down. Again, just waiting for Bitcoin to recover. There may be a whole lot more bad news to hit these crypto markets as the FTX fallout continues and we see what else it drags down. We look at the 2-day chart again. Maybe we're making a bottom here to rise up from. Don't know. Maybe a lower bottom. We'll wait and see on the weekly. Same thing here, just waiting to see how things sort out. Been quite bloody for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Going to be a while till they recover. That is where we are as we look at all of our charts, all 5 of them, our 2 stock indexes, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, gold, and Bitcoin is represented by XBTF. This is the Van Eck Bitcoin strategy ETF. Now, unlike Bitcoin, where you have to go to a crypto exchange, this is an ETF. So we like it. The inverse of it, of course, is BITI, something that those you interested can play around with a little bit. Some potential problems with that as far as liquidity goes. And when I say liquidity, I'm talking about difference between bid and ask, getting in, getting out, how much you have to recover. But again, when you've got something that is as volatile as this is, particularly when you're dealing with an inverse fund, you can expect that. Sometimes that's prohibitive as far as how much you have to recover just to start breaking even. We'll talk more about that later. That's where we are, folks. To all our friends in the United States, happy Thanksgiving. To everybody else, take a day off. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.